Good morning, America. Stormy holiday weekend. Millions of Americans under alert. The threats for severe weather for what the TSA says will be the busiest Labor Day travel period on record. The best advice if you're taking to the skies or the road.
Clarifying their positions. Donald Trump saying now he'll vote no on a ballot measure aiming to overturn Florida's near-total abortion ban, while Vice President Kamala Harris explains her stance on fracking as the presidential race heats up.
Hockey family tragedy. NHL star Johnny Gaudreau and his brother struck and killed by an alleged drunk driver on the eve of their sister's wedding. The charges for the driver as tributes to the brothers pour in this morning.
Mosquito-borne viruses now rising. Health officials sounding the alarm about West Nile and Triple E. How to protect yourself this Labor Day weekend.
Fall movie preview. Hollywood banking on sequels to be box office blockbusters.
I'm going to make you so happy.
It's about survival!
The familiar faces back on the silver screen.
Rookie rivalry, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in their final matchup of the regular season. Clark scores a career high,
Caitlin Clark, another three-pointer!
while Reese makes double-double history. Plus, stunning upset, the shocking defeat of Novak Djokovic at the U.S. Open.
I'm on top of the world.
And college football kickoff. Week 1 with a full roster of matchups. ESPN's Desmond Howard joins us live in College Station, Texas with previews and predictions.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Oh, this is a perfect way to start this Labor Day weekend, huh?
Yes.
Good morning, America. Great to see you. Happy to have Rhiannon and Allie back here.
Welcome back.
Yeah, great weekend as Janae enjoys her last weekend of maternity leave, so we'll see her very soon. A lot of news ahead this morning, including the Labor Day weekend travel crush as millions of us squeeze in that last summer trip this weekend.
That's right.
Look at
And
that.
communities all across the country, especially here in the Northeast, are sounding the alarm. 2 mosquito-borne illnesses are on the rise. 2 deaths from West Nile were reported in New Jersey. We'll have the latest coming up.
But we begin here with the intense storm system hitting the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic just as millions of Americans head out for the Labor Day weekend. Let's get right to Samara Theodore tracking it all. Samara, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. So yesterday in Raleigh, North Carolina, we had 2 houses get struck by lightning, or one got struck and actually the fire spread. It took about 70 firemen 45 minutes to clear this fire. And unfortunately, that threat persists today. Take a look at this. This cold front driving through from central Pennsylvania to the Ohio Valley through the afternoon and evening. Thunderstorms likely. Then as we head into the nighttime frame, that's when we have the storms lining the I-95 corridor. Biggest threat with these storms, some hail, damaging winds, and flash flooding, okay? So any plans you have today, keep that in mind. Labor Day forecast. We're actually very dry throughout much of the country. Cool in the Northeast and the Midwest. Warm out west. Down south, we're talking about the chance for flooding. I'll have that a little later on. For now, Gio, back to you.
Glad you started us off, Samara, because all eyes are on that forecast as millions of Americans hit the roads and the skies for this holiday weekend. We have team coverage, of course, starting with ABC's Morgan Norwood at Newark Airport. Good morning, Morgan.
Hey, good morning to you, Gio. Yes, those storms that Samara just mentioned now looming over the holiday travel stretch, which, by the way, is projected to be the busiest on record, with TSA expecting to screen close to 17 million passengers at airports from coast to coast, which could mean long lines. Thankfully, not seeing that here at Newark, but we know that will change as the morning progresses. And speaking of the mornings, most airports will be busiest in the mornings, with Dallas, Fort Worth, Atlanta, and O'Hare the most hectic. American Airlines, in fact, tells us that they expect to fly 740,000 passengers on Friday on 6,400 flights. United looking at 500,000, up 6% from last year. Now, TSA lines are often where the hangups happen, right? So if you find yourself waiting, wait smart. Spend that time emptying out your pockets, putting loose items into your carry-on. It will really save you time when it's your turn to go through screening. Bottom line, you want to arrive early and give yourself some extra time. Rhiannon?
It's some good advice there, Morgan Norwood. Thank you for that. And it is not just the airports. The roads will also be packed on this last long weekend of summer. ABC's Alexis Christophorus joins us now with more on that. Good morning, Alexis.
Good morning, Rhiannon. With millions of Americans expected to take to the roads this Labor Day weekend, timing is everything. So today, experts say try to avoid the morning and plan on heading out after 12 p.m. Tomorrow, it's best to leave before noon. And if you're coming home on Monday, travel before 10. If you are making it an extended holiday weekend, the best time to travel Tuesday, after 1 p.m. And when you go to fill up this Labor Day weekend, you'll be paying the lowest gas prices in about 3 years. According to AAA, the national average for a gallon of regular now $3.33. That is more than 50 cents cheaper than a year ago when gas averaged $3.82 a gallon. And that relief at the pump may stick around for a while. According to Gas Buddy, prices could dip below $3 this fall as gas stations switch to less expensive winter blend of gasoline later this month. Whit.
All right, Alexis, thank you so much. We turn now to the tributes pouring in this morning for NHL star Johnny Gaudreau and his brother, both killed by an alleged drunk driver who is now under arrest. They were hit while riding bicycles in New Jersey before their sister's wedding. NBC's Ike Ejiochi is here with the latest. Ike, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. The two were supposed to be groomsmen just hours after the accident. Now, a family and community in mourning. This morning, tributes pouring in for NHL star Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew after their shocking deaths. The brothers were riding bicycles Thursday night when they were struck and killed by an alleged drunk driver in New Jersey.
You're charged now with 2 counts of second-degree vehicular homicide.
43-year-old Sean Higgins appearing in court Friday. Investigators say Higgins was driving recklessly when he attempted to pass a slower-moving vehicle on its right side, hitting the brothers on bikes from behind.
Gray or black SUV hatchback driving erratically. It was swerving around people and driving on the shoulder.
The tragedy unfolding as the brothers were scheduled to be part of their sister's wedding the next night. Instead, the celebration now called off. The Gaudreau family releasing a statement mourning the loss of truly 2 amazing humans and asking for respect and privacy during this difficult period of grief.
There's a lot of good hockey players in South Jersey, and he was probably the best. That's why he was Johnny Hockey.
On Friday, fans and mourners gathering to pay their respects outside the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio, where John played left wing for the Blue Jackets. His former team, the Calgary Flames, honoring number 13 on their scoreboard. The 31-year-old, known as Johnny Hockey, was a 7-time All-Star during his 11 seasons in the NHL.
Nothing was given to him, and he turned into one of the best left wingers in the entire league. But anyone who knows him knows that he was all about those close to him, specifically his family.
Hockey, the unbreakable bond between the brothers, both played for Boston College, where they were recruited as a team.
If you ask us to name our favorite players, they've got to be both. Boys are going to be among them.
29-year-old Matthew was the head hockey coach at their former high school. He and wife Madeline were expecting their first child together this winter. According to the arrest warrant, Higgins failed his field sobriety test after officers say he told them he had consumed approximately 5 to 6 beers prior to the accident. He will remain behind bars until his next court hearing September 5th. Gio?
Just an awful, awful story. All right, Ike, thank you so much. To the presidential race now, heading off to a new phase now of intensity this holiday weekend. The first mail-in ballots going out to voters next week. And the ABC News debate is just 2 weeks away. ABC's Mary Alice Parks is here. Good morning, Mary Alice. It's quite literally go time now.
Yeah, Gio, good morning. It's the end of summer. That means the start of this final leg in the sprint to the White House. The campaigns are counting down to that debate and, yes, working to get out the vote now, with some ballots in crucial states like North Carolina mailed out the end of this week.
Former President Donald Trump overnight speaking at the National Summit of the controversial parents' rights organization Moms for Liberty, known for pushing book bans and upping attacks on public school teachers, focusing on immigration.
Our country is being poisoned, and your schools and your children are suffering greatly.
Education front and center, Gwen Walz, wife of Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Walz, a public school teacher herself, holding her first solo event with fellow educators.
Say it with me. We are not going back. One more time in your best teacher voice. We are not going back.
Earlier Friday, Trump campaigning in Western Pennsylvania, ticking through other hot-button issues like energy and climate, hitting Harris for saying in 2019 she would ban fracking. In that new CNN interview, Harris explaining her position.
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
She added that her values around needing to fight climate change have not changed. And abortion. Trump Friday now saying that he will, as a Florida resident, vote no on a ballot measure aiming to overturn the state's near-total abortion ban, even though just the day before he indicated the state's new 6-week ban was too restrictive.
When I heard about it, I disagreed with it. At the same time, the Democrats are radical.
Outside Trump's event, protesters focused on this very issue.
His work at appointing 3 of the Supreme Court justices who committed themselves to overthrowing Roe v. Wade is a human rights slap in the face.
Trump supporters looking ahead to the debate.
I'm looking forward to him contrasting himself with Kamala Harris, our current vice president, because it's dramatically different. And she keeps copying his policies.
Now, Harris put out a statement overnight, again, saying that she promised she would push for a national law restoring abortion rights. Look, all of this back and forth on the issues, clearly a sign that the candidates are gearing up for that debate. They know just how consequential that head-to-head will be.
Absolutely. So many things turning and twisting in the midst of all of this. Thank you, Mary Alice. And, of course, the ABC News debate. It will host the first presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. Takes place on September 10th in Philadelphia's National Constitution Center, beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern. Our own David Muir and Lindsay Davis are going to be the moderators, and it is live right here on ABC and streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
We will be watching that, Gio. Overseas now to the Middle East as Israel launches more raids on the West Bank, while some fighting set to pause in Gaza for the sake of polio vaccinations. ABC's Britt Clennett is in Jerusalem with more on that. Good morning, Britt.
Good morning, Rhiannon. Yeah, it's now 4 days since the IDF launched massive raids in the West Bank. The IDF releasing video from the operation that killed a top Hamas commander in Jenin, Hamas confirming his death. Now, that city, Jenin, now effectively sealed off as intense fighting continues there. The IDF claiming they've killed 20 militants so far in what they say is a major counter-terrorism operation, but fears that the war in Gaza could be coming to the West Bank. We saw firsthand some of the destruction in Al-Farar camp, locals very much angry and picking up the pieces. Late last night, meanwhile, 2 car bomb attacks, the IDF saying a terrorist infiltrated an Israeli settlement. No civilians were killed. Meanwhile, in Gaza, a video released by the Palestinian Red Crescent showing further destruction in Khan Yunis as the IDF withdraws from there again. 9 bodies recovered, and an Israeli airstrike has hit another aid convoy, this time belonging to the US NGO ANERA. The IDF saying armed men joined the convoy, which then went on to deliver that aid to a hospital even after the strike. And with limited pauses in fighting expected in the coming days to help facilitate a polio vaccine rollout, ceasefire talks grind on with no real breakthrough. A senior Israeli source telling me that Hamas are not exempt from the pauses in the fighting, and it is not the start of a more enduring ceasefire. Whit?
All right, Britt Clennett for us. Thank you. We turn now to Southern California. A neighbor now under arrest in the disappearance of an elderly couple missing for nearly a week. Melissa Adan joins us from Los Angeles with the latest. Melissa, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. So police making a gruesome discovery, finding what they believe are the bodies of the missing couple underneath their neighbor's home. That neighbor is now facing murder charges.
This morning, a missing elderly couple from Southern California presumed dead, according to police, who suspect their neighbor of homicide. 79-year-old Dan Menard and his wife, 73-year-old Stephanie, vanishing a week ago, last seen with their dog Cuddles at their Redlands, California home, located in a nudist ranch. Police finding their car abandoned nearby, the couple's cell phones and Stephanie's purse inside their home. Days later, police involved in a standoff with the couple's neighbor, SWAT team seen approaching Sparks' property, then tearing through his home, eventually going in with guns drawn, forcing him to surrender.
We did locate him under the home.
Police arresting 62-year-old Michael Sparks in connection to the couple's disappearance, charging him with murder. On Friday, cadaver dogs detecting at least one body underneath his property. Hours later, officials searching and finding a bunker underneath the home.
Great couple, good Christians, good people, and so when they disappeared, it was just a very big blow to the entire community.
Now, the exact motive of Sparks and what led to the couple's death remains unclear. Police tell us, though, that investigation continues with their current focus on properly identifying those discovered bodies. Gio?
Such a mystery. All right, Melissa, thank you so much for that. And one of the two doctors charged in the overdose death of beloved actor Matthew Perry appeared in federal court in Los Angeles on Friday. Dr. Mark Chavez surrendered his medical license as part of a plea agreement. He's expected to plead guilty in the coming weeks to conspiring to distribute ketamine. Chavez is facing up to 10 years in prison. Rhiannon.
Gio, there is a new twist in the long-running legal saga of Adnan Syed. Syed, you might remember, was featured on the hit podcast Serial. Maryland Supreme Court upholding a decision to reinstate his murder conviction and ordering a new hearing. The court ruling that the 2022 hearing that freed Syed violated the legal rights of the victim's family. Syed remains free this morning.
Communities across the country on alert as cases of mosquito-borne viruses are on the rise. ABC's M. Nguyen is joining us now. And M, these warnings are happening on a very busy holiday weekend. Good morning.
Busy indeed, Wick. Good morning. Yeah, health officials are sounding the alarm amid a rise in mosquito-borne illnesses, including the West Nile virus and Eastern equine encephalitis, or EEE. In New Jersey, 2 older adults died of West Nile virus. The number of cases in the state now up to 8. It comes just 1 day after officials in Wisconsin reported 2 people dead because of West Nile. This morning, around 290 cases reported across 30 states. And while most people infected with West Nile don't get any symptoms, 1 in 150 people may develop serious, even fatal illnesses. Now, communities also on high alert for the rare but deadly EEE disease after officials in Massachusetts said a second case was discovered in the state. The fear of an outbreak in the Northeast prompting some public high schools in Massachusetts to change the times of their football games. New York City also taking action to reduce the spread of West Nile with regular sprayings across the city. And experts point out West Nile kills roughly 100 to 200 people each year in the U.S. Now, symptoms of West Nile include high fever, headache, disorientation, and even paralysis. And EEE symptoms overlap with many of those, but also include drowsiness and seizures. Gio.
All right, Em, thank you so much for that. And the U.S. Agriculture Department says dozens of health violations have been found at the Boar's Head plant in Virginia linked to a deadly listeria outbreak. The violations include insects, mold, and puddles of blood that have been linked to a deadly listeria outbreak, killing at least 9 people. 57 others have been hospitalized after they ate Boar's Head products contaminated with listeria, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So very important to watch for that. We got to get that handled.